Good morning everyone. I'm Aliyah Villarreal, and for today's video, we are going to talk about the Chapter 11 Western Women's Movement. So when did liberation begin? The origin of women's oppression seems far removed from our live realities. The movement exposed the structural inequality faced by women in particular eras. More importantly, this movement identified women as an oppressed group. Some professors even feel that women no longer need gender-specific rights because women can already do what they want. Given the many freedoms of women, many say that some feminists have become unnecessarily aggressive or too sensitive on their claims. There is a societal imbalance in the power structures that dictate what men and women have access to, based on both their biology and gender roles. So, what is feminism? Feminism is a way of looking at the world through a woman's perspective. Feminism is about all gender having equal rights and opportunity. It is about respecting diverse women's experiences, identities, knowledge, and strength. The evolution of Western women's movement in recent history can be summarized into three waves. Each wave characterized by a particular aspect or struggle toward emancipation. The first wave of feminism, women and civil rights. The second wave of feminism and women liberation. And lastly, the third wave of feminism.
The first waves of feminism, focusing the women's struggles for equality and civil rights, which took place from 18th century to the first half of 20th century. The movement was influenced by the lyrical political philosophers like Kant, Mill, and Russell, who advocate for the equal rights of a man, leading the woman to demand the same rights. In highlight, the impact of the French Revolution in the late 70s where both men and women fight for their rights. However, the women's-specific issue weren't fully addressed, but the movements like Citoyens Republicans and the Revolutionaries, or also called Revolutionary Republicans, women citizens, demand the women's rights to vote and hold office, which largely ignored by the male revolutionaries. Olympia de George was a French feminist and political activist who believed strongly in justice and equality of all. Response to the male focus on Declaration of the Rights of a Man, wrote his Declaration of the Rights of a Woman and for the Female Citizen in 1791. She advocated for a woman's rights and includes for a human rights discourse for our French Revolution, highlighting that the women were exclusive despite for the proclaimed freedom. Mary Wollstonecraft, a British feminist, wrote a Vindication of the Rights of a Woman in 1792, the foundational text of the Western feminist thoughts. Wollstonecraft argued that a woman's education and their role beyond being object of the marriage. She emphasized that women should be treated as equals to men, particularly in the family and the broader society. Friedrich Engels and his materialist interpretation of a woman's operation are also referenced. Engels, in collaboration with Karl Marx, provided analysis of a woman's subjection as a root of economic system, particularly in accumulation of resources. His text, The Origin of the Family, Private Property, and the States in 1884, argued that the marriage involves the reinforced economic interest and the woman's oppression is tied for exclusion from wealth and inheritance system. The second feminism was a period of activism that took place in 1960s and 1970s. It was a time when the women fight for equality and end to discrimination in workplace and society. Women fight for equal pay, access to male-dominated space, and legal protection against the harassment and discrimination. In social change, women question the traditional gender and family rules. In legal reform, women fight for the laws that would protect them, such as Roe v. Wade in 1973.
Hello everyone, my name is University Serino and I'm going to discuss about the third wave of feminism. The third wave movement of feminism emerged in the 1990s and continued into the 2000s. It built upon the foundations laid by the first and second waves of feminism, but also introduced new perspectives and approaches. The third wave sought to challenge and expand traditional notions of feminism, promoting a more inclusive and diverse understanding of women's experiences and struggles. A key example of third-wave feminism is the Riot Girl movement, a feminist punk rock subculture that emerged in the early 1990s, which focused on reclaiming female sexuality, addressing issues like sexism and abuse through music, and promoting inclusivity within feminism by highlighting the experiences of women, of culture,